I was in the dark against it all, but made it through the day, 'cause I found my way. I found my way. In bad times, I know I'll be okay, 'cause I found my way. 'Cause I found my way.
Well, Flashy, welcome back to the
we
Trauma
started?
Twins. We have officially.
Okay.
Yes. So,
Hi.
hi. I'm Dave,
I'm Sarah.
and we're the Trauma Twins. And today we're really excited because we're talking about the Signs book that we had mentioned in the earlier one. If you haven't picked it up, we definitely recommend it.
Oh, yeah.
It's
It's worth a read.
it changed our lives and our perspectives, really, on how we saw spirit, how we interacted with spirit on a day-to-day. Like, yes, there's life after death, but you can work with spirit and live with spirit day to day and see
Yeah.
it alive. Like, life is miraculous.
And they want to be a part of your daily life.
Yes, they're here to guide us and help us, but
Absolutely.
also bring us joy and work with us. So again, the Signs book. The majority of Laura Lynne, she's a psychic, a renowned psychic and medium, and she is known for doing tests, like scientific tests, with a lot of different, institutions and stuff. She's had that brain cap done, so they've monitored her brain waves and like how she gets into the meditative state, and it's just fascinating. Look her up. But she has a few books out, but the Signs book is really focused on afterlife,
Yes.
people connecting with the hereafter, and it's a lot of validation for people who are seeking understanding and what's going on with their loved ones once they pass. Is there something more? Are we connected to something greater? For us, though, we already believe that.
Yeah.
Like, growing up in the church,
We do.
like we know there's something.
Yeah.
But now that we've evolved in our spirituality,
Mm-hmm.
this book, again, a big part of that, is again how we live with spirit in our day-to-day lives, how we can see it, and like how spirit is actively working with us and supporting us.
Yes.
And how it's all connected. So we just kind of want to break that down today and explore this, and put this stuff out there and start a conversation to get you excited and involved. And again, we want you to comment and follow along, but also we're going to probably do a second part to this.
Oh, definitely.
And then-
there's too much to cram into one.
Yeah, and so let's see how the conversation evolves, and if there's something that you want to talk more about, let us know, and then we'll explore that a bit more too. We'll dive a little deeper. So I want to start with a quote she has, because I think it's fundamental to this. She opens her whole book. It's fundamental how you see this perspective.
Yes.
And how you approach looking at the world through the lens of spirit. The unseen is just as much, if not more, a part of our reality than we realize. You know what I mean?
100%.
So the quote she starts with is by Ronald Dahl, and it says, "Above all, watch with glittering eyes the whole world around you, because the greatest secrets are hidden in the most unlikely places. Those who don't believe in magic will never find it." And I think that is a great jumping off place. What?
It's making me emotional.
Why?
It's beautiful.
It is.
Yeah.
Why? Why does it resonate?
Because everything around us is magic,
Mm-hmm.
and if you're not open to it, you won't see it.
And I know,
It'll
like,
pass you by.
people are like, oh, like that sounds like a Disney movie. But that's why my brand, I have Find the Magic. That's one of my brand slogan, because literally, if you can get to the point where you see spirit in everything, when you see you are connected to it, to all, like I'm connected to you just as much as it's a ripple in the pond, right? And my ripple
Drop
effects.
in the ocean.
Yes, it's all connected, and then you start seeing how it all works together, and how spirit uses these things to bring messages to us, and like the purpose and value of life is just infinite. And anyway, we could talk.
We could
for
go
days.
down a lot of rabbit holes today, so I'm
Yeah.
going to pre-warn you on that.
Yeah, put a pin in it.
This is something that we're very passionate about.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different facets to it. So yeah.
Yeah.
This is fun.
So Find the Magic. That's why I have Find the Magic. If you can see the miraculous in the day, which I'm hoping we can help you find.
Yeah.
So let's start. She starts by saying, if you're reading this, it's meant for you. How did that resonate? I think this is vital.
I think that, again, this is hard for me to I have to go back to before I am where I am now. But my mantra every morning when I wake up is I do not chase, I attract. What is meant for me finds its way to me with ease. And that's something that I live by. What is meant for me cannot pass me by.
Yeah.
And I'm going to find what I need when I need it. I constantly am telling you when you ask me about things in the future, your future self is going to know how to deal with that. Your self today does not need to worry about how to deal with that.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a way of looking at life. And it's definitely about perspective.
Yeah, like a belief system or like you said, a life perspective. And I think with this book and with encountering spirit, again, if you don't believe in the magic, you're not going to find it. It's not meant for you then, because you have to be open to it. There is a faith component, a piece of this
100%.
It's all there. And once you start
Yes.
seeing it, like she talks about a great awakening, there's a moment in our lives where, oh, my kitty just sneezed, bless you. There's a moment where you can't unsee it. You just know.
Once you know, you can't go back.
You start putting the signs together, right? So this great awakening of when you start seeing these patterns and the connectedness. So when she says, if you're reading this in the moment, like she's meaning her book, it's meant for you. And I think we want to continue that same energy. If you're seeing this podcast, if you're seeing this stream, then it's meant for you. Like there's no coincidences.
There's a reason you stumbled on this.
Yes. And you got to trust that though, innately. Like it sounds counterintuitive, but everything happens for a reason. Everything is a lesson.
Everything is energy.
Yeah.
And you're putting out a certain vibration and you're attracting what you're putting out.
Yes.
So if you're here, something on some wavelength sent you right here
And
to
trust
this
it.
moment.
It's that simple. Just trust it. Just know this is for you. And if it resonates, that's the other thing.
Yes.
She starts out, this is another thing I love about Laura Lynne. She's like, you don't need this book to be psychic or medium. Like everyone has this intuitive connection to spirit. We are all spirit, and therefore we're connected to it. So you don't need a medium or a psychic to help you, even though in times they do help us.
No, I think everybody naturally wants to go to mediums and they're drawn to that because we kind of see them, in a sense, kind of like the Catholic Church sees priests.
Yeah.
We
the
see them as
in-between.
that in between. But in reality, we all have access to it already within us.
Yeah.
And sometimes we go just to be validated. We already know what we know. We just want to hear somebody else tell us we're not crazy for believing it.
No, my psychic friend Judy, I always call her psychic friend Judy, but one of the first people I went to, and when I really started exploring my spirituality, she said something very similar that resonated. A good psychic or a medium should only confirm what you already know. It should only resonate with what you already know. So if
100%.
a psychic comes through and says your dead dad said this and it doesn't resonate, there's a
That
reason.
doesn't sound like daddy.
And
Yeah.
it's more than just like
That kind of was a little sexual too. But
it's where we are. It's who we are. Just own it.
Yeah.
Daddy's zaddy.
daddy
Anyway.
has shows. Say what?
But that's the truth. Like it should confirm. And like I think you even said a good therapist or
Counseling. That's 101 you learn in counseling is you are kind of the sounding board. You don't give advice in the sense of you don't. It's different from life coaching. You're not directing somebody to do steps 1, 2, 3. You're helping guide them on their path to their own inner truth that they already know, which can be very frustrating, which is why I didn't want to do counseling. Because a lot of times I want to shake somebody and scream at them, you're doing it wrong, do this. But really it's about finding that path, and you have it all within you already. You just have to unlock it.
And it's up to your what's the word I'm looking for? Like you got to give space for where the person is at, right?
100%. You have to honor that.
And spirit works very much the same way. Again, if you have that closed-minded mindset and it doesn't resonate now, then it's not for you now. But one of my favorite quotes, when the student's ready, the teacher appears. Same thing with spirit. You get to a point where when you're open enough, then things will you'll start to see them all the time. You can't go back. So let's give her basics. Again, a good psychic should always confirm what you already know.
Yep.
But she has like 4 truths that she states in this, that like her universe is set up, but the way she sees it, the way she understands it, there are 4 truths
Which
from
I
the
think
other
ring
side
true for us as well.
that are in all religions,
Yeah.
kinda. I
I
feel
think that's when you study every religion, you
Yes.
find the commonality is the four truths that she mentions.
Yeah. And again, use your own judgment and like what you know of what, religions and, philosophies. But she says the first one is we are all constantly watched. There is something greater. And again, when she talks about spirit, I feel like we got to clarify this every time. That can be our higher power,
Yep.
our higher self, our spirit, or a team of light, as she calls it. That's like spirit guides, angels, loved ones who have passed. It's all part of
Souls
the
that
other.
you don't even know that you've made contracts with
Yeah.
to help you on this journey. That's a whole other video.
Yes, yeah.
But we definitely believe in
Twin
reincarnation.
flame. We should definitely do soulmates and twin
The
flame.
twin flame, I think, is
It's
it's so
trite.
rare. It's so rare.
It is.
And it's gotten a lot of traction, unfortunately, because people are desperate for love.
Yeah.
But no, I think that you come into this life with certain contracts,
Our
and
parents.
you have to honor those when you're on the other side. So some
And-
people sign up to help us just
and
strictly for that.
That can be, again, these contracts, like even people who have passed are still involved in our lives, protecting us, guiding
I
us.
think a lot of times too, you'll find in reading these stories, people are passing right before something very traumatic happens to that person, so they're actually
Yes.
lined up to pass so that they can offer more assistance on the other side.
Okay, I know
Because
this sounds
on
woo-woo.
this side, we're very limited in our perspective, but once we get to the other side, it's an immediate, you're all knowing.
You have a different range
Yeah.
of capabilities. And
Right.
so again, like you were saying, I know it sounds crazy, but sometimes
It doesn't, it
people's
doesn't.
souls choose to pass because they know they want to help
Yeah.
the
Or
family
it's already
go
been
through
a
something.
contract that you've created. Everything, it's not coincidental. We choose the way that we come into this world. We choose the family that we come into. We choose the way that we go out, and we choose the lessons that we're going to learn when we're here. And I know that can be very sound crazy, because
The
sometimes you're like,
preordained.
why did I choose to go through this?
Yeah.
There is a reason for it, because everything,
Our souls come here to learn
right.
certain
And a
things.
lot of times learning is suffering.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Most of the time.
So
that's our greatest teacher,
yeah,
right?
we come here to experience it.
Love and suffering. Yeah. That's literally it. Like, okay. No, I
Yeah.
love that. So, okay. 4 signs. We are constantly being watched. There's a team of light on the other side. And again, what that means to you, like that's part of your journey. But there's
I
so
say
much
I'm
more.
always guided and protected.
Yeah. And it's all connected, right?
Yeah.
All these things are the same because we're all the same thing.
Right.
We're all source, right? The second one, she says, we are loved more than you know. We are loved, and love is the language of the universe. The highest vibration in the universe, out of all creation, out of all existence, is love. Fear being the lowest vibrational level, love being the highest. And love is what we carry. That's what our consciousness continues on with. And I love this. I think one of the quotes in the book, she says, when we have a relationship with someone, it doesn't end after death. It
Never.
continues on. So the only thing we really carry on with us.
And I think even too, to piggyback off of that, when we have a relationship end here on Earth, that doesn't mean that the love goes away.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Yep, that's what I mean.
You can be on the other side of the planet and we don't even speak, but that love still remains in my heart for you.
It's a cord connecting
Yes,
us.
it's something that does not die.
Yeah. Oh, because it's energy. It's
I'm
energy.
having like I guess, a woo-woo moment. I'm realizing that a lot of this is like, you know how in your profiles you can kind of do your bio description? Mine has these universal truths in it. And so I'm just now putting that together, because I have, once you know, do better. And then also love is, always will win and prevail.
And I think that speaks to these are
Yeah.
spirit truths. And
Yeah.
again, religion.
Universal
all,
laws.
All your main religions, love is the core of it,
Yeah.
right? Like we're all part of source. Love is the language.
If
like,
you can't help people, at least don't hurt them.
Yeah, yeah. Golden
Yeah.
rule. The third one is that we're all connected.
Yes.
Intrinsically. I always reference Indra's web in the Hindu philosophy, which is imagine every person is a point on like where the webs intersect, and if you pluck on one string, it reverberates throughout, or a ripple in a pond. And the thing she also says, we're connected, but we're also invested in each other.
Oh, yeah.
And if you change your outlook in life to reflect on my actions have I hate consequences, but there's a cause and effect.
Cause and effect.
Because
that's the best way.
yeah, like
we try to stay away from positive,
Yeah.
negative,
Why?
right, wrong.
Why?
Because the universe is very neutral.
Yeah.
And I think that that's
does
again
that
another
mean?
deep dive that we can go down in a rabbit hole. The universe is simple, and it gives you what you want or what you ask for and what you have space for. And if you're giving out negativity and hate, you're going to get that back.
That's what you see in the world. You attract
That's
the law
right.
of attraction, right?
Right.
Universal
100%.
truth.
Universal truths.
Yeah.
All the laws of the universe.
And it's, again, like you said, we can go down a rabbit hole, but again, nothing is, like the tornado is not good or evil.
No, it
But
just
if
is.
we build our house in the way of it, it's not good or bad. But it affects us because we are attached to the house, the family that died, that kind of thing, right?
It
Like
kind
the
of,
loss.
I recently sent you that picture of the two apartments, one on top of each other. One has like a plastic chair on their patio, and the patio underneath is like a garden of lush,
Yes.
beautiful, and it's us that makes the difference.
Yeah.
So I think in the
It's
sense
what-
of like when you're talking like a tornado, you can say like my house was completely destroyed, but now you might be able to build the dream house of your, what you've always wanted. It's all in the perspective that you take
Perspective.
because the universe is very neutral.
Yeah, and again, we'll talk more on that. That's
Yeah.
another sidebar.
That's
but
how rabbit
we-
hole we could go down.
We attract what we see. How we see the world is what we attract more of.
Yeah.
So, okay, so we're all connected. What I do to others ultimately has meaning, and it is important.
And you're creating karma.
Yeah, the karmic level too. What we put out comes back to us.
Mm-hmm.
The fourth sign, when you ask for signs or when you ask to see spirit in your life, they will respond. The universe will always respond to you.
And I think it's important to note that you have to ask.
Yeah.
They don't have
Why, though?
the
This is good.
ability to just interfere. We have free will, and we live our lives on our own terms. And if we want help, we have to ask for help. And there's a humility piece to that too.
Yeah.
Of being able to say, I can't do this on my own. Also
Recognizing
recognizing
your connectedness
you're
to the other,
interconnected
yes.
to, yes,
The hanged man,
100%.
yeah. No, I think you're onto
Yeah.
something right there, and I think that is
I'm
vital.
always onto something.
It's vital to understand that.
I drop truth bombs all day long.
Free will. So one of my favorite lessons I ever learned was from a palmstress, and she was holding the palms and but she said two sides of the coin, yin and yang, right? There's fate and free will, and they cannot intervene because we have free will. But if you ask, then you unleash all of this amazing energy, possibility and synchronicities and stuff. But again, that free will piece can come back too. Our souls with fate, we have things we're supposed to line up, and our souls will accomplish, and it's come here to do certain things, right? Fate will give way to free will because you are choosing, and that comes more in terms, I think, in escapism, drug users, or people with patterns in relationships. Your soul's
Another rabbit hole. A lot
Yeah.
of times that can be escapism just because you're not being nourished in your gifts
Yeah.
spiritually. A lot of people
Avoiding-
who have mental health issues or dependency issues, it's because they are extra in tune and they don't know how to navigate that.
Yeah.
So they get kind of ostracized as the black sheep or mentally ill, when in reality they're just really in touch with the other side.
Yeah.
They're kind of living on the veil.
Yeah. Oh, and again,
Another rabbit hole.
so many things. I've read recently about neurodivergence and how people who are more sensitive are often inclined to be more neurodivergent. And it's just, but fascinating. Anyway, let's talk more about what signs are.
Okay. I think there are universal signs.
Yes.
And she talks about this that span across all of us. And some of those are coins, and some of those are...
When you say universal, so default signs, right?
Default signs that
Spirit uses default
Spirit
signs.
uses because it's easy for them to manipulate.
Okay.
And it's easy to gain access to in your daily life.
Gotcha. Okay. So
So-
common things you see, like what?
Coins
Yep.
would be one.
Because the metal,
Yes.
energy, like lights, they play with lights a
Lights.
lot because everything
Radios,
electric, magnetic, but yeah.
songs coming on.
But other things too that I'd say live beings that are sensitive to these energies, like
All animals.
animals, but especially bugs. She talks about butterflies a lot, dragonflies. I know these
Birds.
are both symbols for transformation. Birds, freedom. Cardinals, you always see it.
I
and
always see
Yep.
cardinals.
It's,
Crows.
Yeah.
I always see crows and ravens.
so a lot of these different things, numbers, billboards, license plates, but angel numbers is one she touches on. She calls it numerical sequences. But so what makes, okay, so synchronicity is something to talk about too. Jung, was he Swiss?
I love synchronicity because my handle and my brand is going to be serendipity because ever since I was little, I've been obsessed with Serendipity, the movie, because I love the play of we have free will, but we always meet the people we're supposed to meet when we're supposed to meet them. And we always kind of have these serendipitous moments. And so the synchronicity piece of this is it can be explained to a certain degree. You can say you had math, no, but you could say, every time you look at a clock, you have so many percent chance of looking and seeing 1111. But you can't explain it when you see it on a billboard and you see it on a license plate and you see it on an address and
Repetition.
it's continuously
Patterns.
happening to you.
Yeah. Synchronicity is recognizing these patterns.
Right.
The idea that the universe uses these random experiences and happenstance, like,
Yeah.
it's a coincidence, but if it keeps happening, if these things keep showing up, and you're paying attention, if something in you is recognizing that this is different, this is odd, this is
Which comes
more
into
than.
the feeling.
Yeah.
The
So
feeling it gives you.
I call it the holy trifecta of how you recognize a sign. How do I know this is a sign and not just my mind try and create patterns, There should be three things you want to take into account is, one, how does it make you feel? When you recognize this odd, which is one of them, an odd happening, or this is out of the norm, what does that, how are you
Sensation.
feeling? Yeah.
What does it feel? Where do you feel it?
Where do you feel it in your body? What's the connotation to it? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it fearful? Is it like those things?
It should always be love.
Yeah.
It should be light.
Peace.
It should never be fear.
Yeah.
If it's fear, it's not a sign.
It's subtle, but peace, right? The other thing, so you got, this is an odd situation. How do I feel? The timing. The timing is vital. So if it happens, it's the timing that makes everything come together to be synchronistic. So I pick up a penny and then I hear something on the radio while I'm thinking about my dead, grandmother. That could be a sign to me, or an animal coming up at a very specific time. Okay, so this is a great example. Personal experience. Me and my partner at the time had found out, we got a call where someone we were involved with.
What does that mean, Dave?
I think we know what that means
What does
because
involved
gays.
mean?
But he got tested and he found out he was positive and he was calling to let us know. And you want to talk about a world crashing moment? Like our lives.
Scary.
Perspective, because you're like, shit, my life can be completely different now. And so I'll never forget, we sat down in the room and I remember the lighting was harsh and we just stared at each other. And I kept thinking, how are we going to get this? This was on a Friday after like business hours. So we didn't know where to go to get treatment. This was a while back too. And I just kept saying, how am I going to get through the weekend? I don't know. I need a sign. Like, oh my God, like, how do I know what should I do? Where to go? We went on a hike. And we're just trying to process and sit with this like intense, crazy new revelation.
Yeah.
And it's funny because one of the animal symbols she says are signs that spirit will use. Deer are very in tune with the spirit world. And we were on the walk, and out of the blue, this is timing. I'm thinking this is where I'm at emotionally. I'm feeling intense. I need peace, or a sign that things are going to be good. And out of the brush, a little baby deer comes up, and hopefully I got a picture of this.
I would initially be so freaked out. I would not feel peace because my first thought would be, where's the mom?
Well, yeah, and that's what you look around because
So see how we can interpret signs differently?
yeah, but the sign is for you. Spirit speaks
you
to
felt
us.
peace. I would immediately go, oh my God, where's the mom?
But
We're about to die.
My partner even noticed. He was like, "Oh, this is weird."
Yeah.
So the baby comes out, and it's probably like 10 feet from us. Has 2 little nubs, so it's bigger than a fawn. But I thought, okay, maybe it just wants. See, immediately I start rationalizing. Oh, he just wants food. People must feed him around here.
You can tell he's not a water sign.
Everything was quiet and peaceful and serene, and I just was overcome by peace, the feeling, the timing, the oddity, and it came over and it came up to my hand and it nuzzled on it, and then it
Which is bizarre in of itself.
'Cause animals are
Deer are
fearful.
very skittish.
yes,
Very.
and so it came up and it I say nubs because he rubbed up on my shin and I was like, oh, this is ow, that's ow, okay, but because
I'm still thinking about where's mom.
I was like, oh, that's cute, ow, but it was a sign from spirit in that moment for me that everything's going to be okay. Like, calm down. We got you. This is a wake-up call. Like, bitch. Like,
Get it together.
Look at your life. Look at your choices. Come to Jesus moment, as you call it. But
Jesus, take the wheel.
But it was a sign in that moment. I'll never forget it as long as I live. And I knew it's irrefutable. I knew what it was in that moment, and the sense of peace and anchoring it brought me in that dark spot. Us, was unquestionable. So I love this idea of you got to examine the timing, the situation, and the feeling that it brings you. That's how you tell a sign.
Absolutely.
Give me an example of something you've went through where.
I have so many.
Well, and we
that's,
should say, like, spirit, there's these default signs, but
Yeah.
then sometimes you ask for a sign and spirit will give you something out of
Yeah.
the normal too. Like,
So I to kind of play off of, yin and yang, he asked for that sign. I would
no,
be
I
one.
didn't ask for it. It
You
came-
did. You said over the weekend you were like, "How am I going to get through
Well,
this?
oh,
Give me a sign."
But I didn't I need
Right.
I need to see,
No, but you're still
okay.
asking
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah, there's a difference.
So for me, I've had one where I didn't ask for it. It just happened, and I didn't even realize it until afterwards. It was when I was getting ready to file for divorce, and I was in counseling, and my counselor looked at me and she said, "What do you want?" And without missing a beat, I looked right into her eyes and I said, "I want to be responsible for myself and for my dogs, and I want to be happy." And the light went off.
What light? What do you mean?
The light on the top of the ceiling, like the light in the room, it went off and then it came back on. And she just kind of stared at me with her mouth open.
I love when scientific
Yeah.
people, like,
And
again,
she
we should all be
went-
scientific, but
She went, "That's never happened before." And I immediately
It's
knew.
all energy.
I immediately knew that was my sign. That was my sign. It
What
was
did it
time to
mean to you?
go. It was time to leave my marriage.
it was confirming that what
Yeah.
you were saying in that moment
Yeah.
was valid, and yes,
right.
confirming.
I
it.
didn't ask for that sign, but it
Your team
it
was
rang
like
true to me.
yes,
Okay,
yes.
now you've got the wink, because as I've talked about before, it was very hard for me to get to that point of being able to leave. I wanted to justify having a divorce because
Yeah.
that church in me was like, "This is so wrong." So that to me was like the wink from the other side of like,
She calls it a
It's
cosmic
okay.
wink.
It's
Signs,
okay.
Cosmic. Wink.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
I love that.
That's one
beautiful.
that I didn't ask for.
Yeah.
I have a million that I have asked for. Probably the one that I think we talk about the most was another time when I'm a Scorpio rising. So I have a lot of tower moments and a lot of moments where Scorpio risings, they are transforming darkness and death their entire life. So it's a very intense placement. Any Scorpio prominent placement is very intense. They go through some shit.
It's part of the mission.
So I've found myself a lot of times on my knees at my altar, and there was one time in particular, not going into what was going on, where I cried out, I can't do this. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. I don't know. I'm done. Like, I don't know what to do. And I asked Spirit, if you are with me, if we're going to get through this, give me a red balloon. And this is another portion that I like to kind of caveat on to that. I never say it out loud. I always write it, because you're going to have your naysayers who are going to say, well, your phone picks up on words that you're using, because you'll say something and then suddenly you get ads for that all the time. I never say what I want. I always write it. So I said I wanted the sign and I wanted a red balloon. I took Bella out for a walk that night, and we were kind of walking down like this path where there was woods on one end, there was apartment buildings on the other, and we're in Florida, so I'm naturally heightened alert all the time for alligators because
it's a different world.
Yeah. So for me not to be looking at the woods is very weird, because I would be naturally looking in that direction to make sure Bella's safe. But I was just looking to my side, and I saw one deflated, kind of like this big red balloon sitting on the ground in the middle of nowhere.
What was the time frame with this?
2 hours.
That's awesome.
And so I kept it.
On a cosmic level, Spirit knew that was there. It was already set up, and you can say your subconscious is pulling this stuff in, and
I like
we're
to
making
think
these
of it more,
situations.
my higher self is giving me the sign that I need to use.
Yes.
Because another example I have so many, Dave. There was something very precious to me that I lost, and I thought I knew who had it, and I couldn't prove it. But then I wanted confirmation that either one, I lost it, or two, this person had it, because it was very meaningful to me. And I specifically asked for a pink elephant. Now, if anybody knows me, I'm obsessed with my dog. She is my child. Bella has a toy box in every room, and they're overflowing, and she never really empties them. She always picks from the top, and that's kind of what we play with. So there are brand new toys at the bottom. I was sitting on the couch. I wrote out what I wanted. 10 minutes later, she comes out with a pink elephant in her mouth. And I'm like, of course, rationalizing, I knew she had that toy. That's why I thought pink elephant. I knew she had the toy.
It's funny how we talk ourselves out of it before. And that's part
immediately.
Of the writing it
I was
down.
like, I knew subconsciously she had that. I bought that for her. I went into the bedroom. She had taken every toy out of a toy box this big. She took every toy out and grabbed the elephant on the very bottom.
Spirit uses...
And brought it to me.
And I love that Spirit uses our animals to talk to us sometimes, too. Like, yes.
Oh, I know for certain that I have soul contracts with every animal I have.
This is something, too, like when you're starting to build, and we're going to do a second episode or addition to this one about a second part to...
Attuning your language.
Yes, building your language with Spirit and how to refine this, because the more nuanced you get with your relationship, she talks about as a medium, like her lexicon of like symbols and stuff, but the same thing can happen for us. Like
it's all within you.
Yeah. Ask your loved ones if you want to talk to them.
Or in your practice. Like,
come to me, send me a this, send me a that. You'll be amazed.
And then I have oftentimes saw black cats when I went to
I've seen black cats with you.
My double mastectomy. The day before, I heard scratching on the door, and I have the video of it in my phone.
What are the chances a random cat will scratch on your door? Dogs, I get, but...
Scratching on my door, and I'm like, I'm not answering that, because what the fuck is scratching? It's probably rabid, is what I'm thinking. But it kept scratching, and Bella wasn't barking, which was weird.
Very weird for
She's
her.
a terrier,
Yeah.
so she naturally hypes up over everything. And I went to the door, and it was this beautiful black cat, and it just kind of sat there and did like twirls for me. And then it just sat there and stared at me. I kept the door open for a good 5-10 minutes, and we just were in each other's presence. Yeah. So cats are huge for me.
Cats are really sensitive to energy too.
Yes.
Very cats will always
find
read your
you.
energy. Yes.
Cats will find you when you
Dolores
need
Cannon
them.
talked about that. I don't know if you know her. She's on a mind trip. Dolores Cannon, but she talked about, and I've heard that from different psychics and mediums I've read over the cats are very perceptive.
They are very
energy.
good at transmuting energy, whereas dogs are more on this plane and help us with navigating emotions here. cats have the ability to take that energy from us and transmute it. So that's
What's
why I
that mean,
say,
transmute it?
well, energy can't be destroyed. So
It has
in
to
a
go
sense,
somewhere.
it has to go somewhere. So they take it from us and they transmute it and then release it back out.
Interesting.
So I'm telling you, cats will find you.
Yeah.
They will find you when you need them.
I love that. Oh, that makes me happy.
Even if you're not a cat person, they'll find you.
Yeah. My ex's sister, we were in the car and we were joking. We had literally just joked about someone.
Her being a witch.
Yeah, she saw a psychic and someone said, they said I was a witch in a past life. And I shit you not. Like,
Yeah.
we're in the car
You can say
pre-drinking.
shit. I just said like F word.
But we're waiting to go into the bar to see him. And then she was like, yeah, someone said I was a witch. And I swear a black cat. That's, again, black cats are like so catchy, but I think spirit knows our relationship to these like cultural, types, A cat jumps on the hood of the car. We're holding our drink and we're like, like you're seeing this, right? And it just stares at us like it was caught in the moment. Like, oh, I didn't realize someone was in here. But then it was more than that. And it just stared at her like 10 seconds, which is, again, a long time when you're just sitting there like, should we move? And it just went away. Just nudges, little nudges from spirit, like, I love yous,
It's winks. I call them winks.
Yes, it's cosmic winks. I love that phrase in there. Okay, so types of signs. We have these synchronicities. We have these default signs, again, that spirit uses to just, they're easy to manipulate. Feathers.
Yep.
Have you ever seen a feather randomly placed?
Feathers all the time for me.
Dragonflies I see all the time.
All
Bugs.
the time.
Bugs are a big one, especially ladybugs, butterflies. Dragonflies, butterflies represent transformation. A lot of times you'll get those when you're about to go through a change or you are in the process.
I get a lot of flies and gnats when I have something negative
You
going
just
on.
smell. That's really what it is. But
I smell glorious.
I get flies a lot too.
My
Flies.
perfume costs so much money.
Flies?
No, when
Are tenacious
flies and gnats, I get when I can feel negative energy being placed towards
Interesting.
me. Or when somebody's on my mind that had a negative impact on me, and I can kind of feel them tugging on that cord. They kind of pop up in my field of vision.
For me, when I was starting the process of my divorce, I remember looking up, just Google your animal signs. Again, that's another randomized way. Whatever pops up in Google, what you're in that moment, spirit will often use that. It can manipulate things like that too to give you exactly, because what resonates with you is for you, right? And so one of the first things I saw was flies are one of their hallmarks is they are quick to adapt.
Yep.
They're quick, but they're easily, always in the process of changing because they, swathing,
They're
whatever.
survivors, too.
Yes, survivors, tenacious. And so it was talking about a lot of changes coming to me in the immediate, like, be ready. And so now when I see flies.
And that's a
what
great
they mean
point,
to me.
too. If you think it's a sign for you, look up the meaning if you don't know what the meaning is. Because a lot of times spirit's trying to communicate with you and you're not getting the answer right away. For example, now I'm so in tune with my guides and I've created such a strong language. When I see numbers, I don't correlate them to what that number means anymore. It's more so I know it's the thought that I was having. They're trying to catch me in a thought or they're getting ready to give me a download. It's not necessarily that, 555 change is coming. That's not what it means for me anymore. But in the beginning, that's what it did mean for me. That's where I started. So your language evolves just like as it does as an adult.
So give me an example. So you're 555, what do you mean catching you in a thought or trying to bring awareness to your thought, right?
Yes, because the whole thing with signs in general and why I say it's a way of life is you have to be present in the now. And we so often are in the past or in the future and we don't even realize it. And so a lot of times I'll have something pop up, like I'll be playing a video game, 333 comes on, and then immediately I start thinking about somebody. And then I just say a quick love and light prayer and I let it go. When I see the sign, I immediately say, okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready to receive whatever you're giving me. I always thank spirit.
Yes,
That's something
so
that we
to talk about.
Definitely want to touch on. Whenever you get a sign, I always say thank you for the wink. And
acknowledge it in the moment.
It's
yeah.
acknowledging it, because I kind of relate it to if you're walking down the street every day and you pass the same person and you say hello and they never respond to you, are you going to keep
down.
interacting with them?
That's a great analogy.
So I feel like if it's my way of communicating back to them, okay, I got it.
That's I think it's a relationship. In essence, it's a connection.
Yeah.
And we always talk about intuition. If you don't use your intuition, if you ignore the promptings that your gut's saying, it's going to atrophy just like any other muscle. Same thing with gratitude is, again, that high vibration. Love and gratitude are of the same energy. And when you are walking and living in a gratitude space, mindset, open-heartedness, that openness is what allows you to attract these experiences, these opportunities. You see the better, you attract the people you need. Like you see
it everywhere.
Yes,
there is magic everywhere.
Say thank you. Just feel it. Say it. Like, oh.
We went to 7-Eleven just before we did this because Dave needed an energy drink, and we came out of the store and he didn't even pay any mind to it. And I saw a little crow just sitting by my door.
Right by your door.
Below my door, just sitting there chilling. And as we were approaching it, it didn't move. And then I pointed it out to him, so he would have never saw that. And so it's really...
But it was for you.
It was for me.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the thing. If you are tuned in...
What did it mean?
Just a wink from the universe.
And that's as simple as it is, because you feel connected. And
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be like,
No, it's just...
there's a bad omen.
Honestly, probably what it was is I, coming out of the store, rammed my door into a man, and I felt so fucking awful. And I couldn't apologize enough. I said, "I'm so sorry, sir. I'm so sorry."
He opened the door for you.
Then he walked out and opened the door for me, and he said, "You're fine. You're great." I still was walking away apologizing because I felt so awful. I thought, this guy's thinking this woman just walks how she wants to walk, doesn't even care about...
I love it.
And he was so gracious to go out, and I felt awful. So I know that was a symbol of, you're good.
You're good.
You're
It's
good.
Sweet. It was a sweet interaction.
It was not malice in my heart doing that, but I did knock him cold.
We can go on and on. Like we both saw angel numbers today because I think Spirit is excited that we're doing this and that we're connecting and we're trying to connect with others.
Rainbows. You said you just saw a rainbow.
Yeah.
I see rainbows all the time.
Yeah, anything can be a sign, but develop your own relationship. This book gives you a lot of guidance, but I think it would be really gratifying and validating for people who have been considering these things and have thought these things, like maybe what if it was this. Don't
if
question
you're thinking
it.
What if, it probably
don't
was.
Don't question it. It's for you. Just have that faith. Find the magic. The magic's all around you. Don't question it. Don't talk yourself out of it. And once you have that openness, just say thank you for it and watch it start to roll in. I'm actually, this is a great segue. We'll probably end here, but I am going to there's another book called E Squared, and it's all about the energy of the universe.
Yes.
And one of the things I want to do is it's almost like just playing with the universe. Yeah, playing a game with it and like acknowledging it and then asking it to reveal itself to you. And we'll talk more about this later on, and just check it out in the Divinity brand. You'll see it probably by the beginning of the new year. But how you can work with and play with the energy of the universe.
They like to play.
Yeah, they do. They enjoy.
The universe is fun.
Yes, it has a joyful, like a levity to it. So I'm going to do almost like a weekly challenge to see if you not see if I know, but help people build this relationship and to prove that the universe is alive and ready to talk to you and wanting to be in your life. So I'm excited. Look for that. Again, it's going to be the E Squared Challenge. So I'll start that in a bit.
It's fun.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Next part, we'll talk about
developing your language.
Yes. Yeah.
That's something that I think we need to be very specific about. Your language is your language. What we correlate with signs is not what you're going to necessarily correlate as a sign.
It's as unique as we are.
Yeah, and it's unique to the relationship that you have with the other person or that other spirit that you're dealing with. So, it's developing that, tuning into it and what each thing means, and understanding, like I said, 111 might mean something for you right now that it's not going to mean in 5 years.
Yeah.
It's constantly evolving.
You grow. Yeah, we evolve.
Like you learn new words, and every day reading books, you learn new ways to communicate.
Yeah. Oh, that's I love.
We love love.
I hope you guys have a great day and be on the lookout. Subscribe, like, follow. Please share this with someone if you. I want a conversation. We want to share this. Yeah, we want to talk. Please leave us a message or a comment. We want to interact. So we hope this blesses you.
I was in the dark against it all, but made it through the day, 'cause I found my way. I found my way. In bad times, I know I'll be okay, 'cause I found my way.